Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back with a preview for Istanbul Basaksehir against Manchester United. United's third game in the Champions League, and so far it's 2 wins out of 2. Victory in Paris over PSG, victory at Old Trafford, and our only victory at Old Trafford this season against RB Leipzig as well. 5-0 at Old Trafford, and now we travel to Istanbul to take on Rafael da Silva, Dembaba and Istanbul Basaksehir, who have lost their opening 2 games in the Champions League, and we go there looking to make it 3 wins out of 3 and leave us top of the group going into match week 4 and that home game against Istanbul Basaksehir, where we could seal our progression through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. But in order to set us up for that position, in order to give us that opportunity to be able to do that, we need to win this game against Istanbul. And we come into it having had the setback of defeat against Arsenal just when it looked like we had turned the corner. Again, how many times do we feel we have done this? Just when it feels like we've turned the corner, we get another setback and we fail to win at home at Old Trafford. Now, obviously we'll discuss that a little bit right now, but we're away from home this game, so it is a little bit different, and it's the Champions League where we've played quite well this season. It's hard to put your finger on why it's been that way. Now, in terms of the first couple of games in the season, Crystal Palace where we lost, Brighton and Hove Albion where we won but we performed pretty badly, Tottenham Hotspur where we got battered 6-1 having had 10 men. Now, in those 3 games, you could sort of understand the performance being poor, having had no pre-season. In the Spurs game, having a man sent off. I think Ollie got it wrong tactically in the second half with 10 men. But, you know, those things happen when you're down to 10 men against a very good side. Against Crystal Palace, you could blame the pre-season. But in the last couple of games, in that game against Arsenal, in that game against Chelsea, there were no excuses. Those weren't valid excuses because we had enough there, and we can't be using pre-season and all that as an excuse after you've had, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in the campaign. So whilst there were maybe excuses for the early season ones, there were none for the last couple of games. And to sacrifice points like that, we dropped 5 points in those 2 games against Chelsea and Arsenal, and these aren't great Chelsea and Arsenal teams. Arsenal came to Old Trafford and played quite well. Chelsea came to Old Trafford and played quite well. But we allowed them to play well. And in those fixtures, we almost gave the momentum and gave the onus to them to say, come on, let's see what you guys can do. And United never ever got out of that mentality of just sitting there and waiting for something to happen in both games. The substitutions came too late against Chelsea, and the substitutions didn't come really at all in that Arsenal game until it was too late. And you could clearly see at half time, 50 minutes, 55 minutes into the game, whatever it was we were trying wasn't working. There was nobody in that middle area of the pitch. Pogba was in a weird wide position. Bruno was pushing up and almost as a false 9 at times. Rashford and Greenwood looked isolated. There was a big gap in between McTominay and Fred and the rest of the team. And United didn't play well. It was as simple as that. There were individual poor performances from many players, and obviously there was a mistake by Paul Pogba for the penalty. But even without that penalty, we don't go on to win that game because we didn't do enough. We didn't even do enough to get a goal. We never really looked like getting an equaliser. So it's hard to put a finger on why we're doing so well away from home and we're not performing at home. I know a few people have tried to say, well, there's no fans at home, and that's not an excuse, do you know what I mean? That's not an excuse. Roy Keane said it like, this is still a great place to play football. You still feel the magic of Old Trafford when you look around. And yes, it's different without fans there, and we would love to be there, and I'm sure the players would love to have fans there. And you can get a certain push from them. That's not an excuse for the way we've performed and the way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has set us up as well, because you have to have a look at that. Now, we go into this game knowing we've done quite well in the Champions League, and we can kind of get back on track again. A win over Istanbul, a win over Everton. it's a good recovery from that defeat. But we need to go on a run. We can't be getting back and then in 2 games' time losing, or winning this game and then losing against Everton, because you're not getting any momentum. And the pressure's well and truly on for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at this moment in time. He did very well last season getting us 3rd spot. You know, you would have liked to have turned one of those semi-finals into a trophy. But in terms of the Premier League, getting 3rd spot, I think was a good achievement for him. With the squad that we had at the start of the season, the changes we made throughout the season, the injuries to Marshall, Pogba, Rashford. It was a good season in the end to get 3rd position. But you're not going to be able to rest on that for too long. The pressures at Old Trafford are massive. And if you've already dropped 11 points at home out of 18 in the league, you know, you need to get results, because the Wolves will be at your door very, very quickly. And this is a game where we should be going into it looking to get a result. It'll be interesting to see what kind of team that we put out. You know, in that game against Arsenal, how many of those players deserve to keep their spot in the team? Arguably Victor Lindelof, David De Gea. I thought everyone was poor. Let's go from front to back. Rashford, Greenwood, isolated. Again, you could say individual performance, poor. Did the tactics help? No. Poor Pogba, poor. Gave away the penalty, poor. Individual performance, bad. Did the tactics help? Probably not. Bruno Fernandes, poor, isolated, quiet, not in the game, dropping back deep, getting frustrated, giving the ball away. Poor individually, but also the tactics didn't help. He didn't have players around him to be able to work off. McTominay and Fred, poor. Individual performances, poor. Thought Fred started well and just got worse as the game went on. Did the formation help? Did the way we set up help them? I don't think so either. So you look around the team and you could say there was a lot of individual poor performances, but the way we were set up did not help either. How many of them keep their spot in this game? I'm not too sure. We'll obviously have my predicted 11 very soon as well. So keep your predicted 11s coming, keep your comments coming, keep your thoughts coming in on the game ahead. David said, domestic games we are nice. Nice don't win games. Oh, okay. I get it. I get it. Sure, Pogba are weak, like on that left side for us. Teams exploit it. Front three of Marshall, Rashford and Cavani. Can't wait to see how that works out this season. How would you play that though? Will Cavani be in the middle, on the left, on the right? How do you play that one? Shubham says, one question. Jose struggled to get the best out of Pogba. Ali the same. That's bollocks. That's bollocks. In short, Paul Pogba had a fantastic season under Jose Mourinho when we won the Europa League and when we won the League Cup. People pretend that didn't happen. He was phenomenal that year for Manchester United. That season when he finished top goal scorer, top assists, the best midfielder in the league almost, got into the PFA Team of the Year, should have been our Player of the Year. People pretend that didn't happen. That was under Oli. So I don't get it. Like, Bruno Fernandes comes in, has 6 good months for Man United, and then when he has a poor game, people are like, oh yeah, he had a poor game today. Harry Maguire comes in, has a great 6 months for Man United, has an abysmal 6 months for Man United, and then people are like, oh, I feel sorry for him, everyone's getting on his back. Paul Pogba has had some very good times for Man United, he's had some bad times for Man United, he's been poor recently. Every time United lose a game, it's Pogba needs to go. Oh, Marshall's not on number 9. It's always the same things. Like, it's really strange. Paul Pogba did not play well against Arsenal. This isn't a defence of his performance, but he played well against Leipzig when he came on. Played well against PSG when he came on. Helped us win that game. Played well against Newcastle when he came on. Helped us win that game. Like, I don't get the revisionism around Paul Pogba. Like, it's really odd. He had his best ever season for Manchester United in 17-18. Somehow Luke Shaw got player of the year. That is really odd. Really, really odd. Bruno comes in, gets 6 months player of the year. Everyone adores him. And rightly so, Bruno has been fantastic for us. But you can see the double standards that people have. It's really odd. 18-19. Manny plays. Apologies if I said the wrong year. See, that's wrong as well. 5 good games out of 150. Really? His first season back under Mourinho, he would have had about 100 assists if that and Ibrahimovic scored the chances that were created for him. The season when he should have got player of the year. Like, granted, he's not been great consistently in periods, but it's really odd how the revision is around him. I don't get what people expected. Do you expect him to score a hat-trick every game? Glenn says Pogba cost 90 mil, should show more. I agree that Paul Pogba should show more. Harry Maguire cost 80 mil. Where's the same energy? Aaron says, why is Ali not starting his best players consistently? Well, he is. The best players have been starting consistently. Then you'd argue it's the way we've been set up. What do you think about Sky having Poch on? No coincidence, as Adrian Davis. I think he's putting himself in the window in the market again. I'd be surprised if, like I said it last year though, I'd be surprised if Oli made it to past Christmas, and I'd be surprised this time around. But let's see. Van der Beek is not better than Pogba. Sorry, mate. Sorry, he's just not. He's a very good player, but he's just not. Anyway, moving on from that, because I'm sick of when he's the constant issue when there's so many worse players at Manchester United. So many. If you want to talk about some shit on that weekend, I can tell you about them, but I'm not going to dig on other players just because people are weird around Paul Pogba. Anyway, moving on to the 11s. Let me just move myself first. Yes, Jabir, how you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. This is my predicted 11 for that game. I've gone Dean Henderson in goal. There's been reports that he will be starting this game. So I've put Dean Henderson in between the sticks in my predicted 11. I've gone with Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Williams as the fullbacks. I'm pissed off with Luke Shaw, man. He was poor the other day. But he has played well recently as well. I've just gone in for Williams. Maybe we'll see Luke Shaw or Alex Telles back in for that game against Everton. Doesn't look like Alex Telles is going to be available and ready for this one. Then I've gone Axel Tuanzebe and Harry Maguire at centre-half. Nemanja Matic, Fred and Van der Beek in that midfield area as well. I've opted to leave out McTominay, Pogba, Bruno. I thought they were poor against Arsenal. And I'd like to see us go with this. I think Fred's been playing well. Matic in there, Van der Beek, give him an opportunity. He does well in the Champions League. This is a team. This is a team that I'll be playing. I believe good enough to beat Istanbul Basaksehir. So let's see how they get on. And then you got Mata, Rashford, and Anthony Martial up top. Getting Anthony Martial ready for the weekend, obviously against Everton. XS says I would rest Rashford and play Cavani. The reason I didn't pick Cavani in this team was because if he was fit enough, surely he plays against Arsenal, and he didn't. So I think we'll see him come off the bench, potentially start. Have we got Istanbul again next week, or do we have a break from the Champions League after this? Let me have a look. Yeah, so we got Istanbul the 24th, or West Brom at home. I reckon Cavani starts one of them, because you can maybe put Martial on the left through a game and put Cavani through the middle, can't you? So yeah, but we got Istanbul, Everton away, West Brom at home, Istanbul at home, Southampton away, which is a difficult game, and then you'd hope we'd get to the PSG game and the RB Leipzig away game, having 12 points. We put ourselves into a great position in terms of, beating PSG. A lot of people would have thought we maybe would have lost that game. To get a result there was a fantastic result. And then, obviously, to beat Leipzig at home, I think that's a game we should have been winning anyway. You've got to win your home games. But to get that after the start we had, 6 points out of 6, it sent us into these games now against Istanbul, the ones where you'd think United, Leipzig, PSG should be taking 6 points out of 6 against them. If we can do that, then it puts us through, and we go to that difficult game against Leipzig and the difficult game against PSG at Old Trafford with the pressure off, because we'll be in a decent position. Anyway, what about Cavani? As I mentioned with Cavani, seems like Oli doesn't think he's ready yet to play. So there you go. Just notice the colours on this kind of match the Istanbul badge, which is not something I planned. Reuven says, oh my god, Reuven, are you still talking about that rumour that was clearly fake news from ages ago? The Glazers are not selling Manchester United. They're currently trying to do a European Super League, European leagues, do mad TV deals, do mad deals for the they are not selling, and you're believing these daft things that aren't true as well. There you go. Deep. Read your comment back and just ask yourself, what the hell are you talking about? But anyway, big game for United. Big game, and we need to get a victory. I think that team's more than good enough to get a victory. But let's look at a little bit at Istanbul Basaksehir, who are a team that I don't think they've started off the season too well. They lost a lot of their opening league games. They lost their opening 3 league games. They've picked things up since then, winning 3 of their last 4, and the other being a draw. But in between those results, they have lost their Champions League games. Against PSG, this was their team. Gunok in goal, Rafael da Silva, Martin Skrtel, Uperanu, Bolingoli and Bombo, Ozcan, Topal, Kavechi, Visca, Crivelli and Taruch. And on the bench they had Demba Ba, Alexic, Babachan, Giuliano, Gulbranson, Calderim, and a few others. So those are the kind of players that they have. A few familiar faces in Demba Ba, Rafael da Silva, Martin Skrtel, but players that Manchester United should be able to handle as well. And if we don't come out of this game with 3 points, then I'd be massively disappointed. Despite the result at the weekend, this is a game we should be winning, and I think we will win it, to be totally honest with you. I think that team there is good enough. I don't want to see that diamond again. I don't mind seeing it in a game where, like the Leipzig game, but then why are you picking it again against Chelsea, against Arsenal? It was never going to work. It didn't make sense. And I think just get the players in the positions where they want to be at. Matic and Fred there, Van der Beek in that number 10, linking up with Fred. Mata and Rashford. Get Martial in the 9 position. We missed him against Arsenal as well. And fingers crossed we'll get the result. But I think we will. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Manchester United. It's the early kickoff as well tomorrow. Make sure you're joining us on the watch along on Stretford Paddock as well, because that will be good fun, I'm sure, and hopefully we'll all get to see a Manchester United win. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you're keeping it locked. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back very soon. We'll have reaction to the game tomorrow, and loads of other stuff coming your way. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. You lot have been legends. I'm out of here.